Hey everyone, it's Empress Rose. Welcome to our reading. It's a general reading. We're going to take what works, leave what doesn't. Let's just get started. We've got some oracle cards coming up here. The Matt Hughes Oracle deck. And we're just going to see what cards want to come out. Aha. Oh, this is fascinating. We have two animals. We have the fish and the raven. And to me, it almost gives yin-yang vibes, right? The fish looking like one side and the raven almost looking like the other side. The halves of life, the balance of life, the good and the bad and the good. They're headed the same direction. There's a synchronizing. Raven in this deck talks about the psychopomp, the passing over from one way of being to another. The raven as sort of an animal that guides into passage, that guides, it guides into the afterlife, but we can take it more metaphorically than that, I think. And it's also, of the air, thought, clever. And then the raven is the apex species, the cleverest of our birds. I love ravens. I love ravens. Like, I've read many books about ravens, and some of my favorites are at Yellowstone. Just giant ravens. I love them. And then we have koi fish here. So this is talking, of course, about emotions. We've got Pisces vibes here, about emotion. And then the legend that comes with this koi fish is that it travels upstream, and it works and it works and it works and it works all the way upstream. And then at the end of the stream, it transforms into a beautiful dragon, which is interesting because I was thinking about dragons all morning. It turns into a beautiful dragon after it has, after it's done its work, I want to say, after it's made its way. There's sort of a transformation. So the raven talks about ushering in transformation and sort of midwifing transformation, and the koi is the one that's transforming. So maybe this is a little bit about your head and your heart coming together in some sort of balance, in harmony, and the mind and the heart really. And there's something about the mind helping the heart to see something. So normally we want to have like a really good balance, really good communication between the head and the heart, and we want the heart to be giving us free information. We don't need the head controlling the heart. What is it? The mind is a great servant, but a terrible master. So we want the heart to really be in there, to really be giving us information and telling us stuff. But sometimes our brain can help our heart understand what's going on and why it feels the way it does. But we don't want to be dictating. We don't want the brain to be a dictator of the heart, because the heart otherwise would be giving us great information, except you're like, you shouldn't feel this way. You should feel this way. Make yourself feel this way. That's the wrong direction. We want the head and the heart in harmony, the heart sort of open, free to feel whatever it wants. And then the head can decide what to do with that information, but the head should never be telling the heart what it should feel. So there's some kind of harmony here between head and heart. And I think that the heart is changing and transforming, and the mind is sort of helping it navigate that, some sort of change and transformation. We have Insight and Ghosts from our Crow Tarot, and they're both corvids, so I just wish that we could just call it corvid. The corvids here, the insight, the mind, we already had that in discussion here, and even this has a little bit of brain here, this shrimp looking like a brain. Did we talk about this last time? Did we get this card last time? I'm not sure. And then we have ghosts also here. So something from the past. Oh yeah, the passing over. And today is Passover, or this weekend is like Passover, Easter. So something that's already passed over, that's already left your life, but there are remnants. There are parts of it. There are memories. There is memorabilia here. There's pieces of the past life of either who you were or even someone who has literally passed on. And so the ghost here, there, right, and just this as a psychopomp is really kind of blowing my mind here as the guide into the resting in peace in the afterlife. And we have, oh, this feels so intense, really. So this could be metaphorical, but for some of you, I think this is going to be literal. Like there is like really a passing over. And this raven is here to help maybe your heart adjust to something, your heart adjust to a loss. But like this ghost, this something may haunt you still. Like metaphorically, we can talk about something may haunt you from a past life, from a past relationship, from something like that. There may be remnants here. So the ghost card, as the MJ Colonnade, the artist, talks about this, is like something that's no longer of this world, that's no longer part of your life, that's no longer in it, and yet there are these ghosts. It needs some help. It needs some help passing over. It needs some help transitioning fully from your life, from reality, into memory land, into the past. So this ghost here, it's just wild. But at the same time, like I enjoy ghosts. Like I've done some amount of mediumship training. I love talking to them. I don't really think of them as ghosts, but the people that have passed on, I love connecting with them. So I'm not even sure like we gotta just like, well, no, you gotta leave this whole world, don't talk to us, don't be with us. But there is something that, taken more metaphorically, something from the past that hasn't fully transitioned. I'm not really getting that it should, and we should make it transition, and we should make it go away, and we should make it, but there just might be lingering remnants of some prior self or some prior relationship that are still lingering. And I think there's like a sense of having a conversation with those things, or a conversation with yourself, with past selves, with past whatever. And maybe part of this, it does lead very naturally to final ending, or an ending of something. You know, it is the honoring that past, honoring that what's been left behind, honoring the memory. I think, you know, I can't bring myself to say, yep, we should, because here's what it is. It's the heart still involved here. The heart is very much involved with whatever was left behind, with this past thing. And to tell our heart, you should, is backwards. That's the brain telling the heart how you should feel. You should be over this. You should be done with this. You should get rid of all of the memorabilia, or you should get rid of this memory, and you should not think on the past, and you should not, you know, that's all the brain telling the heart what it's going to do. But I think what we need to do is be listening to what our heart is saying about some sort of past event, past person, past whatever, and then the brain can maybe listen. and because I feel like this really strong sense that we're not pushing the ghost away. We're welcoming some kind of ghost. We're welcoming something that a past self, really. You know, we can't be like making fun of our past self and making fun of like, oh, look at what I used to wear. Yeah, well, you were the height of fashion then, so don't be all, you know, dogging on what you used to be. Or who you used to be, or this. There's something about the heart here. I think the heart is with the ghost, and the heart still is in this graveyard, heavy with memory. And then we have insight. So this is why I think that we're being asked to take our mind not in as a should, but in as a listener, in as a, if it happens to guide us to, you know, freedom from the past, yay. But that's not God. That can't be the goal. That can't be the goal here, because the heart is so thoroughly involved. The heart's working hard. That thing is pumping 24/7. It is working hard to, and I think we just really don't want the brain to be sort of interfering. We want this raven, this brain, to be patient with our heart, understanding that if this ghost should pass on completely, actually that opens up a new layer of grief when our memories about someone start to fade, or when we start to feel good again after something, or when we realize we're forgetting aspects. It's a new layer of grief. So this mind needs to be very patient with the heart. The heart, it's not even, this heart, the koi fish looks like it's trying to go somewhere, but it doesn't even know. It's like instinct. It's like just the salmon instinctually. Does the salmon have like a map? And then it sounds like we're going there. And then that's where, no, it's a whole process. And maybe there is an end point, and maybe this whole, right, and we're headed toward transformation here, but I don't think that can be the goal. I don't think we can have our mind cued in to transform. No, I think maybe there's a sense too of watching ourselves, watching our own heart navigate the past and memories. So this insight, so we can't force the insight. I think the insight comes from patience, from curiosity, from, in a way, like freeze framing a scene and walking around it, like it's a bunch of actors in the room, this memory or something, and there's these actors in the room, and you can, in your imagination, stop them all and walk around them, see what they're doing, see how they're interacting, see which direction they're facing. Are they facing each other? Do they have their backs to each other? What is each character in this scenario feeling? And I think it's a very patient process, a very slow process of turning sort of an emotional situation around. Like my son has this really great physical imagination. Any object, he can kind of turn it around in his mind, understand how it's going to react to different pressures and whatever. And so I think we can also have that, like emotionally or intellectually, looking at our heart, looking at it from a bunch of different angles and directions, and starting to understand, why something's still here, why something, what else does it have to say? What else can we learn from it? So I think there's insight here, but I don't think it can be achieved by a direct inquiry. I think we need to be very curious and wander around it and just take our time with some sort of emotional process. So this is all experimentation, right? This is exactly this card. This crow cannot directly get this shrimp. He sees the shrimp in the card. I mean, in the jar. Sees the shrimp in the jar. Wants the shrimp, but the water level of the jar was down here. There's no way the crow could have gotten the shrimp down there. But through a process of, it just looks really like a brain. But through a process of exploration, experimentation, started to realize that the height of the water raises. And Colleen tells us this is a true story. The height of the water raises, and therefore brings the shrimp up to them. But it's through this roundabout way. The direct way could never work, especially when we're talking about emotions in our heart. Like, it's a little bit of a shy little thing, and if you go directly at it and demand it give up its secrets, it can shut down. So there's a lot of exploration here and trying to see something from a lot of different angles and being very patient. All right. Oh, that was... I just could never with the ghosts, like, yeah, get out of this world. Like, I love ghosts. I've already shuffled this very thoroughly, so I don't really know what the deal is. I guess I just need a transition moment. All right. From the bottom of the deck, overall, Page of Coins. This could be a new job, a new place, a new project. It's a beginning. And it's a beginning in reality. It's not just a thinking experiment and exploration. There's a new reality here. But it's a page too. It's a page too. So this is someone who's just learning something, maybe learning a new skill. Maybe, it can be very physical learning. I often think of it as the student that has passed their written driving exam and now has to do the actual driving in the car with the instructor exam. This can be a child. The Page of Coins often represents to me an actual child, a real kid. But anyway you slice it, it's going to be a beginner. It could be a new coworker. It could be you could be the new coworker. It could be a new neighbor. You could be the new neighbor. Just someone or somebody that's new. Oh. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. Wow. Yeah. We've got a lot of swords here, which our raven was coming in as sort of a king of swords here. An air sign, perhaps, and a water sign. So lots of swords here and lots of coins. So this could be about work or just about a new path. It's where the mind meets reality. And then we've got a reverse 9 of cups, which is definitely talking about the heart and emotions. So, okay, in the recent past, this is interesting too, because we have 2 people here, and then we also have 2 people here naked as babies. So Page of Swords. So this would be, you already did the written exam. That's what this is. It's a student. It can be a child. It's a student of the mind, someone who's learning something, reading something, perhaps in school. They're not quite sure. They're developing their ideas. They're not quite sure what they think. But the way they think is definitely changing, and they may be new to a whole thought process. Yeah, it's a student, maybe new kid in school, something like that. A new thought, someone with some new ideas, and they're not expert at communicating them. They're still figuring out, like, how does it all work together, right? Like, you're going to get the whole college degree, and they're in one class, and you know how. You know a little, and you're like, I know. And so that's very exciting for you. But, people that have been in the business that you're training for a very long time are like, cute. I mean, they should be pretty nice about it and remember what that's like, embracing your enthusiasm, embracing where you're at in the process, and understanding there's a whole unfolding process. It really drives me crazy when people are condescending to people that are just learning something new and excited about it, and maybe they don't understand the whole thing, but they're excited and understanding about something. So maybe this isn't even exciting though. Maybe this is just like a clear understanding. It could be someone having communicated. Didn't we have the Page of Swords in reverse last time? Was that the page of, we had a page in reverse last time. But so this is like a clear communication. Well, maybe not clear. No, it's still clumsy. It's still a clumsy communication. They're trying their best. But yeah, and then what I was saying about someone who's taken one class when there's a whole degree and then an internship, and then, which would be like more like this, the Page of Coins, but there's a whole thought process that they're just learning, and they're just learning the vocabulary and how to use the vocabulary and all of that, and they're just starting to put it all together, and it can be a little clumsy. It can be, they might misuse some vocabulary words in their enthusiasm and excitement to be part of the gang. So there is like someone who's just learning how to communicate, maybe an idea, just figuring something out, maybe just figuring out an idea here. The current situation is 5 of Swords. And this is interesting because I was thinking about the dragon, and I was thinking about 5 of Swords. I was thinking about, with 5 of Swords, about how if you know you're going to be in a fight, make your first punch a knockout. Like, if you can't avoid it, if you can't keep the peace, if you can't whatever, just don't poke the bear. Like, kill the bear. If you got a bear, or in this case a dragon, if you've got a dragon standing between you and the exit, you don't like, excuse me, Mr. Dragon, excuse me, can you wake up? Can you like let me pass, please? if you don't want to fight, then you have to make your first punch a knockout. And that's how you have to deal with that. So I was thinking about that as I was preparing this, or those thoughts were flowing through me. The Five of Swords, I kind of like it today. I kind of like the Five of Swords today. It's like, hey, listen, I actually don't want to have a big, long, drawn-out argument, so I'm going to just take everybody's swords. You're not going to like it, but it's way better than all three of us dying in some sort of three-way fight here. So I think this is about you doing what's best for you. And nobody, we got someone running away, we got someone sitting down crying, but there's a sense here of like, yeah, well, I did what I had to do. This was best for everybody involved, and I made the decisions I had to make. So to me, Five of Swords is conflict, and it's the resolution of conflict that's only good for one person. And they don't even like it. They didn't even want the conflict resolved like this. They wanted everybody to talk it out or whatever. Like, the Five of Swords is sort of the Grim Reaper peacemaker. Like, yeah, okay. We just got to stop this fight, because it's not going to be fun. So it's someone that's just stopping it. I can see it often as like conflict avoidance. Well, no, not really. It is a little bit conflict avoidance by like diving straight in, like, making that first punch a knockout punch, so that we don't have a long dragged out fight here. Because this person, you or somebody else, and so maybe you might be mad at somebody. You could be any of these: mad, sad, and like grimly triumphant, like, well, I got what I wanted. That's not really what I wanted, but I at least, like, the conflict's over, the conflict's resolved, and hey, we all live to fight another day. So, but yeah, like, he's not like, ha ha ha, I won. He's like, this sucked. I didn't really want to win like this. I really didn't want to engage in this, but since neither of you guys were going to stop fighting, I had to do what I had to do, and just, in a way, be the adult in the situation, and just put this fight, or this argument, because it's swords, is probably an argument, possibly a debate, and someone maybe was very immature in this debate. And so, like, you just kind of shut it down, or somebody shut it down. You might have been the immature one, We're all a little immature sometimes. So be willing to look at that and see maybe where you went awry, or maybe where you were a little immature. But the argument basically got shut down, and nobody's happy about it. Even the person who, like, won, they don't feel like they won anything. They didn't even want to be part of this. Like, but they just also didn't want a long, dragged out fight. So yeah, so it's the resolution of conflict in nobody's best interest. But it had to be done. The argument had to be ended. It's not even agree to disagree. It's just like, yeah, I'm just taking we're just done. So someone won, but it wasn't like, they're not like, yay, I won, I'm the victor. They're like, I lost my friends in the process, but this was going downhill fast. So reminds me of like a party when the parents are out of town, and like the student or the kid, because we've got two kids here already. So pretty immature situation, and they want to have a party, and they have all their friends over, and the party gets out of hand, and they're starting to see like the house get destroyed. There's some drugs there that maybe are a bit different than the ones they were expecting to show up. Just things have gotten out of hand. So they put the whole kibosh on the party, maybe even call the cops themselves. And they put the kibosh on the whole thing because it was getting out of hand and it was getting crazy, and they realized they didn't want to do this anymore. So then we have Six of Coins here in your inner landscape, your hopes, your fears, what drives you, your subconscious issues, fairness. You want to give a little, get a little, give a little. Yeah, the whole situation wasn't fair. It almost feels like maybe you didn't start the fight, but we've got two kids here. We've got people fighting. Maybe you didn't even start the fight, but you just like, nah, we got to shut this down. This is never going to work. So the Six of Coins is wanting to get back a little. Maybe you invested in something. Like, some of these cards can talk about like a sunk cost fallacy or something like that, where we just keep pouring into a situation despite it never giving anything back to us or investment. So maybe you cut ties with a situation, maybe even something you were invested in, and you realize you were losing money, and you just don't want to continue pouring money down the drain. So you created a resolution, or you ended the argument or disagreement just to say, and here though, you still kind of want to get a little bit back on your investment. Like maybe they do owe you a little bit. You'd like to be treated fairly in this process. Like this wasn't fun for you either. So you'd like a little bit back, like, or, you know, maybe you're one of these people that ended up like really hurt or angry about the process, and you're like, well, at least could you return my swords? So it could be like a breakup where you're like, well, I want my stuff. And so you still want your stuff. You're ticked off that this ended like this. Yeah, it's like being really ticked off, or really a terrible ending to something, but it was better than it going on and on. But you still want a little return on your investment. You want to pick up your stuff. Like, could someone just acknowledge that this was unfair? Could someone just like throw me a bone here? And maybe you would like a handout, or you'd like to be more generous in the future. Maybe a situation happened where you had to be really strict and really, I want to say cut things out, cut the crap, cut people out. But you'd like to be generous. You'd love to have, instead of it ending like this, you would have loved to have had it end like this, where you get to, you know, it's almost like people got too greedy or something. Like you're trying to be generous, but then it went awry. So you could be each of these has 3 characters in it, which I find really interesting, because we also have like 2 other characters. So you could have, you know, it could have been a third party situation too here that just had to end with everybody breaking up with everybody, nobody pairs off. And then here we have someone with everything, this person, and then we have the 2 people coming back like, but could you help us? So maybe there's, maybe you'd like to restart this, but have it go really well. Because this is almost the same scenario, except for this one's going really well. Like someone has all the goods. These people didn't get any. Someone was very not generous, very unkind, very cut people out. And maybe they felt like that was what they needed to do. But here they're including people in their own generosity, in their wealth. So people are feeling included. And that may be what you want. You maybe want to feel included. You want someone's time. You want someone's money. You want your swords back. You still want something from this situation. What has ended badly, you would like there to be some generosity and peace and kindness there. What's at issue is 9 of Cups reversed. So this is going to be feeling embarrassed, ashamed, not happy. This could be depression. This could be not feeling connected, not wanting people to see your pain and suffering. Because the 9 of Cups is very public. In the upright, we have happy, proud, public, wanting to share that with other people, having done something independently, or just being proud of where you're at and who you are, and being very happy and wanting to display that. It's a little bit of a solo happiness. So in the reverse, I'm seeing, instead of pride, we're replacing pride with shame. Instead of happiness, we might be replacing happiness with depression, or a drained energy, or feeling lethargic, or feeling not good and wanting to hide it, you know. It's so strange because we're publicly talking more on social media and with the internet about good mental health and you know, reach out, but yet our daily practice of this, of community, of reaching out, of letting people know how we feel, our daily practice of it has yet to catch up with our ideals and what we're just learning about as a society and what we're trying to accomplish. Our heart isn't there yet, and we're still not ready to, like, we may have read the book on good mental health and hygiene, but we're not experiencing it, at least in the time period for which I'm speaking here. Or somebody isn't. There's just unhappiness in the air because we left it off like this. We left off the situation like this. Like, well, this ain't gonna work. There may have been 3 people. Loyalties may have been tested. You may have had to decide that you had to be loyal to yourself. And sorry about this situation to you, and sorry about the situation to you. I so wish I could have been generous, but instead I had to be greedy. And there's a sense of having to be, and life does push us into situations where we do have to, when the rubber meets the road, make some very difficult situations. So 5 of Swords is about, very difficult decisions. 5 of Swords is about extremely difficult decisions. And wanted to be generous, but having had to be stingy or selfish. still unhappy about it. You're not thrilled about this. You're not shouting it from the rooftops, as we already discussed in Five of Swords. You're unhappy with how things ended because this was the dream. This was the vision. That's not where we ended up at all. So, and then here's, we have the heart here, and this is the cups, the heart. The heart is unhappy. The heart is heavy. The heart is going through a process about something that happened in the past. So this could be like maybe you were just learning about boundaries and you applied them very crudely and badly, which is better than not applying them at all, but still needed maybe a little finessing. So in your environment, it's almost like these two people that got left out, there's a choice. Your environment's actually offering you a choice and a decision, and maybe to go back and redo this decision with a little more finesse, a little more generosity, balancing the Five of Swords and the Six of Coins here, balancing out having to look out for yourself with getting to be generous and having the opportunity to be generous. But we have decisions. Life may be offering you a choice this week about which way you want to be, which way you want to go, who you want to be, right? And then I find it interesting because I kind of see you as the main character here. Of course, you're the main character in the tarot reading for you. You can be in both of these cards. The typical traditional teaching is that you can be any of these three characters. You can be the one back here crying, you can be leaving in anger, you can be the one with all the swords. You can be the one receiving, you can be the one waiting to receive, you can be the one being generous and giving. Here we have the scales, a little more balance, a little more fairness. This is what you wanted. Life may be giving you another opportunity to make the choice, right? So I see these two as being these two options, giving to one. Instead of giving to one, you took from both. But giving to one and, the other one's waiting their turn. And then we have this choice, the Lover's card. An option to do this, an option to do something that you actually loved, actually wanted to do, more expressive of who you truly are. So this is an option, a choice, the Lovers. Are you going to live your life in a way that you love, where you love your life, you love yourself, you love what you're doing? Because this, you didn't really necessarily, I'm going to say with Five of Swords, you didn't necessarily have a lot of options. So you just had to do what you had to do. Difficult choices that harm yourself in the process, but might overall be better. Right, again, this is like the raven and the koi fish. And then the twins here, Gemini card, there might be someone in your environment that is a Gemini, but this Lovers is just basically life's going to give you a chance to make a choice about who you want to be. This one, the Five of Swords, you didn't necessarily have a choice, but you are getting a choice. There's something in your life right now, external to you, that will provide you with an options of how to handle something. Your to-do list is to sit up all night and have a lot of anxiety and not sleep. Now, that's what you're supposed to do. No, it is about looking at your fears, though, right? We were already talking a little bit, right? Because we have this ghost, so it almost seems like this page might be a ghost from your past. This Five of Swords might be something from the distant past that comes back, and you have an opportunity to make different choices and decisions about it. But the Nine of Swords, again, this is our third sword. Oh, hold on a minute. You guys, I thought I had this great idea and I did not. So anyway, it's basically, I looked up, multiple swords and multiple coins. That's not actually what I wanted to look up. But anyway, it means exactly what we thought it means. Swords, argument, discussion. Yeah, more like argument in this case. And then coins is more work, money related, or even time related, or even health related sometimes too. So Nine of Swords, your to-do list is, welcome those anxieties in, right? Because what we were talking about is not having the head tell the heart what the heart is supposed to feel, but having the head just be a good listener to the heart, understand the heart, freeze frame and walk around what the heart's feeling, the situation the heart remembers and finds itself in, which is this one back here. So we have Nine of Swords here. You're safe in your bed. So you can, you know, help yourself a little bit with that. Like technically there's nothing physically dangerous. We do not have a tiger at the door. We don't have a tiger chasing us. So we're not in physical danger right now. But we're as safe as a person can be in our bed. But some of these fears that maybe come up at the end of the day, come up when you're tired, your defenses are down, these anxieties, really looking at them. They may be trying to warn you about something. They may be, and that something might be that you have like increased anxiety hormone, adrenaline. You may have like an increase in that, and that's something that you need to look at and deal with. So this is basically like actually deal with your anxieties, like examine them, look at them, turn them around in your mind, see maybe where they're coming from, but try to understand them. So we're not tamping them down. We're not saying, no, we don't need to be anxious about this. There's no tiger at the door. So what's your problem? Shush. You know, we're saying to our heart, okay, intellectually, we're seeing that there's not a tiger at the door. We're physically safe. So what else is going on? Tell me. We're inviting those anxieties, those fears, this unhappiness. We're actually going to. We would rather run and hide and pretend we're not home, but we're actually going to invite it in and really look at it, because we're getting an option to make a choice and a decision. And I think we really need to be examining our heart, our mind. What do we really want? How do we want to live? And listening to our heart. So in a to-do list position, to me, is going to be more about listening and trying to understand our anxieties, welcoming them in rather than pretending we're not home, bringing them, making them some tea, sitting them on the couch and asking our heart, what is it? What is on your mind today? What is on your mind today? So that's what we want to do with those anxieties. And then we have, it's funny because 9 of Swords, nightmare card, anxieties, that hit us at night, maybe when our defenses are down. And then 10 of Coins. We go from 6 of Coins to 10 of Coins. So I feel like 10 of Coins here is receive. If you wanted to receive in the past, receive now. This thing that you wanted, it's yours. Like, you're the one giving. You're the one with the generosity here. This is your courtyard. This is your, these ones are now inside the courtyard, are now inside the protection. Yeah, there's a celebration energy. There's community. There's enjoying the fruits of your labors. 10 of Coins can also be an inheritance card. It can be, an inheritance card as far as like the work's been done. The work's been done and now we get to enjoy the party. The work's been done and now we get to enjoy the earnings. The work's been done, and like with 10 of Coins, it's the 10, it's the completion. So to me, that's like the work's been done. Like physical work, real work, at the end of the day, at the end of a project, at the end of whatever, a life. The work's been done. The work is over now. And now we just get to enjoy. We get to become the dragon who worked so hard upstream. We get to become the dragon and enjoy the fruits of our labors. And all this insight brought us the fruits of our labors. We are going to enjoy this shrimp right here. It's rising up to meet us. So 10 of Coins at the end there. Wow. Nice wrap up. We have 2 pages. We have 2 9s, so nearing completion. 1 10. The Lovers, some sort of decision. Or maybe someone else is making a decision. Okay, we're going to take this one for the mudra. I like this one. Heart chakra. We have a heart chakra, the green heart chakra. Here are the Lovers too. All this greenery representing the heart chakra. Oh, look at all these dogs. Look at all these dogs. There are so many dogs, I just noticed. This white dog right here, your companion through all of this. Your heart, I feel like the white dog, right? And we were talking yin and yang too. I feel like the white dog is probably more your heart. Here's your white dog here, sitting by your feet, except for it's reversed. But sitting by your feet, your heart out of sorts here, 9 of Cups. But now here's the same dog in the Lovers. Part of this decision, the heart, sitting between its 2 masters, deciding which one it's going to go with. Let's both call the dog's name and see who he comes to. That's a little bit of what life is presenting you. This option and this option are both going to call your name, and they're going to see which one you go to. Who's really your master here. And here we have the black dog, the head, barking at you all night long. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? But now we have the heart at peace, enjoying the party. After all the decisions are made, after all the things are done, we're enjoying the party, the fruits of our labors. So we have inner guidance, tuning into your inner guidance, especially when it comes to this sort of decision. You already made a difficult decision. You already had to choose yourself, but you're being offered again another chance. How are you going to handle the decision this time? So, in the Hridaya Mudra, insight, self-compassion, safety, supports heart and respiratory system, releases tension in the chest and ribs, assists the immune system, cultivates trust in inner knowing, which is what you're not doing here, is trusting your inner knowing. I listen openly and honor the voice of my heart. This is exactly what we were talking about, the head and the heart, honoring the voice of the heart. Honoring the voice of the heart and using your mind to do that. All right, one more. Okay. Falling right in my lap. Oh, your time will come. Waiting patiently in winter. Oh, some messages. We have some blackbirds here. Maybe they're corvids too. Some souls are slower to blossom, building their inner beauty over time until just the right moment. Then the fullness of their beauty, power, and grace is revealed, providing powerful healing medicine for those in need of comfort and hope. I feel like that's this 10 of coins, this gathering or this celebration of work finished, providing healing and hope, providing powerful healing medicine for those in need of comfort and hope. Yeah. Providing for those in need of comfort and hope. This is what you've wanted, and this is what you will be doing. But also for you, because you're in need of comfort and hope yourself. All right, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me here for another reading. Ciao.